Krantz.
How you guys doing tonight? I don't really give a shit. I'm just supposed to ask. So did you guys see Mel Gibson's got a new movie that just came out a couple weeks ago? He disappeared for a while, right? Like went away for a few years, tried to make the world forget he's a Nazi. And like most comedians, I'm Jewish, so I know I'm supposed to be really mad at Mel. But the truth is, I'm not. And he's clearly got some issues with us. I'm sure everybody remembers his drunken tirade. But I'm not mad at him. And what got lost in the shuffle of that whole DUI case, and this is true, it's in the police report, the night that they arrested him down at the precinct, he drunkenly screamed at a female cop, "What are you looking at, sugar tits?" Sugar tits, how great is that? Like, how can I be mad at the guy that gave the world sugar tits? So, like, I get it, you know, anti-Semitism's really bad, but sugar tits, that's really fucking good. They kind of cancel each other out, if you ask me. It's like this, it's like these recalls with the Toyotas, you know, like sudden acceleration. It's killing people on the road pretty bad, but, you know, it's people that drive a Prius. So, really fucking cares in the long run. But my point with Mel is that Sugar Tits was so great that, like, if I owned the newspaper the morning after the arrest, the headline would have screamed, Mel Gibson calls ladies sugar tits, and something about the Jews. So, where do you guys stand on child abuse? For it? Against it? Guessing most of you, a few of you are for it. I gotta admit, I am totally for it. I think the time is right. We've got to start kicking the shit out of these kids again. Because whatever we're doing now, like this timeout bullshit, it doesn't work. I grew up in the 70s and 80s when it was still perfectly all right to beat your kids, and nobody cared because, you know, just nobody gave a shit back then. But I have to tell you, for the ones who survived, it really prepares you for life. Like, it toughens you up in a sense. I don't know if you guys are keeping score, but these last few generations of kids are not tough. They're more like pussies, right? Like, scared of everything. They wear helmets everywhere they go. And the problem with raising little pussies is that they grow up to become big pussies. They marry pussy wives, they have little pussy children, and the cycle just never ends. I call it the pussification of America. And here's how I know it's out of control. Because we're letting grown men leave their homes every morning dressed in skinny jeans, guy liner, and a man purse, and we're not doing anything about it. And the problem is you speak to one of these guys, we let them distract us because they call this shit by different names to try and throw you off. Like, you speak to them and you're like, "Hey man, what's with the makeup?" "It's not makeup, it's guy liner." "Oh, all right, well, why are you wearing lady pants?" "They're not lady pants, they're skinny jeans." "Okay, well, fuck you carrying a purse for?" "It's not a purse, it's a shoulder bag. These things are huge in Europe, everybody has them." "All right, well, that might be true, but here in America, you're a pussy with a pocketbook." And what are they carrying in these bags that's so important that they're willing to go out dressed in public like this? Let me let you guys in on a secret. Phone, keys, wallet, anything else, you're a douchebag. You know what I want to see more than anything before I die, right here in New York, is for one of these pocketbook pussies to be walking down the street and see some kid come running up and snatch his purse out from under him. Because you know he's going to scream for help, right? Like, "Help, he stole my purse." "Help, he got my shoulder bag, he's getting away." And the thing is, you know nobody's going to help because how are you going to chase a kid down the street when you're lying on the sidewalk laughing your balls off? Maybe I'm just old and cranky, but I don't understand when it became so acceptable for dudes to try to look so much like women. What's next, tampons? Gonna start sticking them in our ass, soak up the sweat? I've told you a million times, they're not tampons, they're man-pons. So, I was listening to the radio the other day, and this really gay Rod Stewart song came on. It's from the 80s, and it's about being on the road and away from the woman he loves. And right at the end of the song, Rod sings, oh, and I'm sorry, let me clarify something, because I don't want to send out the wrong message. When I say the song's gay, I don't mean lame. I mean gay. Like, I kind of wanted to suck a dick by the end of the song. Like, my ass hurt a little just listening to it. All right, and full disclosure, it wasn't the radio, it was my iPod. But, so right at the end of the song, Rod sings, I'm coming home real soon, be ready, because when I do, I'm gonna make love to you like 15 men. And I thought, time out, Rod. Like, 15 men? Because that sounds gang rapey. Like, and if it's not rapey and it's consensual, it still sounds very gang bangy. Like, I don't know what it says about this woman he was saying. Like, she was just sitting at home like, oh God, I miss Rod so much. I wish he would just get home and fuck me like a room full of dudes. Any self-respecting woman knows you want your man to fuck you like he's 4 or 5 guys tops. Anything else, 15, that's a bit much. But then I got to thinking, like, what would a Rod Stewart gangbang even look like? Because it's not like he's gonna show up with 14 dudes in ski masks that he just met at the bus station. It's gonna be 14 of his buddies, right? So, depending on your taste in music, it's either gonna be like the coolest or the lamest thing that ever happened to you. Right? Because like, who's gonna show up? Like Bryan Adams, Sting, Elton John? This gangbang's gonna be fabulous. Tina Turner. You know what would have made that joke so much better would have been if I finished writing it. So I'm gonna switch gears. I got a question for you ladies out there. And I'm gonna try and put this delicately. Why can't any of you seem to tell a story to save your lives? Seriously, what is it about a beginning, a middle, and an end that seems to have you so befuddled? Like, I swear, I think some of you are getting paid by the word. Like, you're being secretly sponsored by the dictionary people, and you're getting checks at the end of the month that we don't know anything about. I'll give you an example of what I was talking about. This is a true story. I was at a party a couple weeks ago, and some guy was telling a story about a trip he recently took to California. And there was this woman listening to the story, and you could tell she just had that, that fucking, ready to pounce in and ruin your story for no good reason look on her face. And so as a way of including her, he stopped and asked her, oh, have you ever been to California? And then she was off and running. And she said, it's funny. Oh, and that's another thing. When you women start stories with, it's funny, it is never funny. But she says, it's funny. I've been to Maine, I've been to New Hampshire, I've been to Texas, I've been to Florida, I've been to Georgia, I've been to Chicago. Chicago's not even a fucking state. So, 10 minutes and 47 states and a handful of cities and countries later, it finally comes to an end with, but I have never been to California. You know how I would have told that story? Here's how I would have gone about the same thing. Hey man, you ever been to California? Nope. See the difference, ladies? Hey, you guys have been really great. Thanks a lot.